computer. All right. Okay. Let's see. So we just heard this morning we're going to have some maintenance of the TCK disk storage, and they asked if next week sometime is okay, and they suggested yeah, some they can work around it by doing it later, and which I think is a good thing. And but anyways, yeah, it's kind of scary to hear that we're gonna have some possible downtime, um, and it doesn't make sense to me to delay it um, much. And I'd say get it over with, and before we get too far. The downside is, that's the only place that I can run Glassfish. Glassfish doesn't work on my laptop currently, and um, I don't know if I can work around that somehow. But like, I opened up a Glassfish issue for that, but not to waste too much time on it. But yeah, won't get into that much more. But the TCK CI is the only place I can run TCK testing for Glassfish. So um, so next week I might just do Wildfly only, which is fine because I'm further along on that with understanding why I was having trouble with that. And so yeah, let's see. So if anyone has feedback about the maintenance, maybe open the issue and comment, or feel free to speak up. But otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and respond. That that next week is fine. Let's see. So yeah, on EE11 status, um, we added some notes. We now have a Glassfish TCK runner for JPA, which is very helpful. And the progress is, I can run, we can run servlet based testing, but more test changes are needed for the app client based test. And I identified a change, which let's see, I think we need to make, which will look like this, which is basically there. I think our shrink wrap code expects the ear, which you don't. Let's see. Let me dismiss that. Let me open up more here. Let's see. So so the pattern seems to be that the base client container jar name has to match the ear name, and with the addition of underscore client. And I didn't know that was a requirement, but for most other TCK tests, I think we automatically generated this correctly, but for the JPA tests, we didn't. So I'm going to work on a script, but you just, yeah. So now with this change for this one file, now it matches the ear name. And that made a big difference with my local testing. So I'll look to code up um, a bash script to find all of the um, like app all of the app managed and app managed no TX, and there's two other variations, stateful and stateless tests. So I'll like find all those tests, um, you know, locate the ear and extract out the this part of it, and then use that in an update of whatever whatever value we see here. Oops, that's all right. Whichever value we see here, and then just add in the underscore client.jar and update that line, and do that from a script to just to automate the change. And it's like 300 I think it's like 300, roughly 300 tests. So I figured doing a script will be faster. So and yeah, we've been burning down the test failures this week, and yeah, with JPA, which is good, good to see. And yeah, good progress there. And let's see what else we got. So that's JPA. And on I think it was this week's. I think everyone. No, I don't think Brian. I don't think you were on the call, but James was on the call. We talked about the core profile last week and again this week. And Ivar asked if we could have a release of the core profile TCK for 11, and have that be a way of showing progress on 11. And it's a good idea if we can make that happen. And I linked James's pull request that which he came up with yesterday, and he's working on getting that going. And I know Brian, I know someone on your team is doing the same on Open Liberty, as I heard in the platform call. During the
Yeah,
platform call, yeah.
yeah, that's me. Yep, we are more or less ready to consume a TCK when it comes out and run it against some beta release or another to to push this forward for the community. What I don't know is, and I don't know who would, is if there's really much that needs to be done for the core profile TCK, or if it's just a matter of like, refreshing some of the stuff that's in that. And because I know that there are like 13 tests that are kind of unique to the core
Yeah.
profile. So I don't know if there's work that needs to be done there to engineer some new tests or not, or you know.
I think in validate. I mean, James. I think you said you saw. I think you said you were seeing some passes yesterday for everything, if I recall right. And I think the signature test will is the only is one concern, because I think it's including the common annotations signature, which would work against an EE10 implementation, but an EE11 implementation would fail because of the removal of managed beans.
Right.
And and um, so so we would need to ensure that the signature, like if common annotations is required, then which if it was included before, it probably should be again. We would want to make sure we include the right common annotations version in the signature test that we do a release for. And I know we have CI. It's just I think we should do a milestone release of it when we have time, I guess, based on our CI job that we have. And you just try and pull something together, and push a milestone release out there that could be looked at, but don't make any promises if it's ready or not until we get someone who, until we hear from Scott Stock, I think would be the thing to do because he championed that in the past, and he's not here in this call yet or at the moment, but you know, would like to hear from him or others, about the requirements for 11 in core profile, I think. I don't know,
Yeah.
James, do you know more than that? Is that
Um,
sound right?
yeah, it sounds right to me. I mean, a milestone release would be helpful just because it would make it a little easier to test with. Because right now I'm building it and I haven't actually tested against the EE11. I've been testing against the EE10 core profile right now just because it was easier. But that's my goal for today is to test against EE11. And I do suspect I'll see some signature test failures, like you said. But I haven't actually looked at the TCK core profile source at all. I'll do that today as well and see if there's anything in there that looks wrong or anything. I don't foresee anything that really needs to be added per se because I mean
Mm.
you're testing CDI and REST, which really didn't have that big of changes. That I would think that the core profile itself needs to test that the other TCKs aren't already testing, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't recall if anyone was going to add additional requirements to it for 11. Uh,
I don't believe so. As far as I know, there was no new. There's been some talk, I think, of maybe concurrency or something going in there, but that's not
mm,
for E11.
okay, great. Okay. So yeah, so I don't see any reason not to do a milestone release just to make it easier to test, consume that,
Right.
and um, I think some of our milestone releases have been to the internal Eclipse repo.
Yeah,
Um,
like the staging repo, I think, right?
yeah, which
Which
is
that's okay. I mean, that's fine. At least for me, that's fine to test with.
okay. All right. And is that okay does that work for Open Liberty as well, Brian?
Yeah, yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay. Oops. Agent repo. Okay. All right. Because I think that's what the CI job is set up for. If it happens to release to Maven Central, then I won't change that when we get to it, or whoever gets to it is fine. But um, um, but yeah. So yeah, great. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess real quick, Scott, before we move on to the
Yep.
E10 part, just for accountability purposes on the call, I should talk about the managed bean stuff that we chatted about on Slack the other day.
Yeah. Let's see. And could you assign that issue to yourself too?
Uh, yeah, I can. I don't have it up right now, but I will
I
make a
don't
note
have
to
it
do
up
that.
either, but um, and I thought I saw I don't know if it was an email or a chat message. I couldn't find it. I didn't actually search for it, but it was just I thought I saw it. It just popped up somewhere in my inbox or on Slack. I don't recall where. And ping in Ed Burns to either either um, we're going to need to remove those tests, or someone from the EJB team will need to help out with figuring out what it should be changed to. They
Yeah,
didn't know that you were, they probably didn't know that you were working on it now.
yeah,
So,
the thing is
but,
on. Yep.
and I think there are still some compile errors on the TCK. So,
Yeah, so I'm gonna look to resolve all that. I'm actually hoping to, well, I guess I shouldn't say this without looking necessarily. I was gonna say I'm hoping to have a PR out by the end of the week, at least for the EJB 3.0 stuff.
oh,
The one I'm
nice.
not sure about is so there's a test in the app client bucket that has managed beans, and I know that that is one that has um, not been converted, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah, I mean that I would think app client would be, does that really need the equivalent of the managed bean? But I don't know what the test is.
Well, no, no, right. So I'm sure the test will probably, well, I guess I'm not sure. I haven't looked yet, but that test will probably want to go away. But the problem is I can't really make a PR to make it go away. Well, what code base would I make that PR against? Because aren't you guys starting with the EE10 and running conversions from there? So I can't make the change in EE10, obviously, right?
This would be on main for 11,
What? Yeah, but okay. I guess I'll have
unless
to look at what the
in,
code looks like.
uh, in terms of change to see what I mean to see what we did. I mean, before I guess you'd look at 10 branch, but I'm not sure I'm on this I'm following what you mean with exactly by using the 10 branch.
Yeah, hang on. Let me
I
try
think what
to.
he's saying is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but I think what
Yeah,
he's saying is that aren't you using EE10 as the base branch, and then you run some conversion over that, which goes into the EE11 branch? So if
Oh,
he
that's right.
makes a change in EE11, is it going to be overridden by things you guys are doing in
Exactly
EE10
right.
in the conversion?
Yep.
oh, so no one's done the automation yet. Okay.
I don't think
I
so. I think App Client is
oh
one of the like unclaimed ones on the dashboard, or at least one
oh
of the not in progress ones.
okay. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, looks like it's not much.
Yeah. So if I change that, it's just going to get blown away.
Right.
Yeah. So that it's yeah, okay. So yeah, so we should okay, so that's
So,
let's see if you remove let's see. So well, I guess it depends. Like if you remove something,
well,
that's
because
okay.
my impression of what Scott Stark has said about the flow is that you guys were going back to the EE10 code base to run the conversions against, that you were not using this code to run the conversions against. I,
So
I may have misunderstood him, but that was my impression.
so the tooling goes, the tooling runs again with an EE10 binary zip, and we've had different forms of the tooling that we've worked on. And but
Yeah.
essentially,
So
it goes through the build XML to figure
yeah, yeah,
out
yeah. Yeah. But so
everything.
the key point there is it goes against the EE10 binary, which is not this code here.
So yeah, so you're concerned, yeah, you don't want to throw off that, which I'm certainly, yeah, which I don't
But,
disagree because you don't want to
well,
cause a problem for that process, for the automation process. Um,
well, and really, there's no way to insert changes into what it's going to be run against. I can't put a change in an EE10 binary that'll get.
oh
Mhm.
yeah, no, you wouldn't, yeah, you wouldn't change anything for for the EE10 binary. Like you wouldn't make the same change to make automation work. What we've done is like JPA is probably the biggest example, and we repackaged the TCK tests, and then we made a lot of changes, to work with JUnit and JUnit 5 and a lot of those changes we don't need in 11 in the platform TCK. But so we had to do a lot of mapping of the EE10 TCK binary of what we see there to 11 when you're doing the automation for 11. So yeah, we worked around the problem I think you're talking about by mapping how things look in 10 to how they look in the altered 11, different package names and everything for all the different package changes and all that went in and other things too. But yeah, yep, okay. So
Where does that mapping code happen? Like, where's the source for the mapping?
so that's in, let's see, let me just open that.
So it's in that tools.
Yep, TCK tools, which is just a big collection of tools that from over
Sure.
time, and there's the Archillion folder, which contain has like the app client protocol handling and other
Right.
things that we needed for 11 that Scott Stock contributed. And then under tools we have some things that we had started, like we started with jar to shrink wrap project, which was a it was a different approach that we started with to read the EE10 TCK binaries, and then we switched to a different approach that Scott Stark came up with, which was TCK rewrite ants. And in that project, we have mapping. Let's see if we can. See, I think it's in here. So there it is. Yep. Yeah. So we have um, mapping of the package changes, and you can kind of see here,
Yeah.
the EE11 package names mapped to the EE10 package names, and dealing with some related things.
So I
And
guess, and maybe this has already been discussed. This is my first meeting, so I apologize if that's the case. But like, so at what point is the EE11 branch going to be at a spot where you can actually make changes in EE11 for things like manage beans or whatever you want to start taking out? Like, I
we
guess
have we
the
have
question is
been, yeah. Sorry.
how many times, how many more times is this going to be run to where it's overriding what's in the EE11 branch?
Yeah.
But I think that varies per sub project. So
Okay.
Scott, if you've got the big project page with the
Yeah.
different
Let me
buckets,
let me open that up. Let's see. Oops, sorry, the wrong one. Here it is.
ah, yeah.
And let's see.
So for me,
Refactor.
the done ones are certainly changeable.
Okay.
Yeah.
The in progress ones probably depends on if a PR has actually been delivered.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
this
the
is kind
ready
of like
to
a
us,
once per module type of concept in a sense.
yeah, yeah. And the ready to assign ones are certainly not. So you can see app client is on that
Okay, got it.
at the top there.
Yeah. I
Got
guess
it.
this one's, I don't think there's anything in SQL
I don't think
folder that needs to get automatically. But I'll just say in progress, even though it's not really in progress. But well, it is in progress. It's just for the JPA and but changes. But yeah, app client signature tests won't. I don't think that. I guess we can I guess we can we'll run the refactoring tooling in there and servlet, but those are like small, pretty small. And yeah, so I guess, yeah, so it'd be helpful to to get to to do to do the first pass of the refactoring in those. I'm heads down on the JPA stuff, and haven't been really looking closely at across the board at at this kind, at the what's open still, just because I'm on the critical path and have to make progress and finish the JPA changes, and so yeah, not
Okay.
but yeah, that's it's not a lot of work to do the refactoring. It's not, it just, yeah, we have an open rewrite recipe that kind of wraps running the open, the TCK rewrite Ant project.
Okay.
And in the TCK rewrite Ant project that we were looking at, Scott used the Antler string template project, which I don't really know much about. I think the Hibernate ORM team has used that.
I,
Um, but
I will say for that module in particular, and I guess assembly as well, which I guess is in progress, so I should see what's going on there. But I'm worried about because of the approach. So I had done all that UGB 2x to 3x migration work, and I did it in the TCK refactor branch. And so that work is essentially been pitched out the window by going back to
Mhm.
EE10 binaries in order to do these transformations. So I had done a bunch in the app client and assembly modules to clean those up because there were a bunch of redundant, old, incorrect, wrong tests that I had removed as part of that work. So we want to make sure that those tests stay removed in the new transformed world.
oh, so we lost your changes? You're saying, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because I changed them in the TCK refactor, and you guys are processing EE10 binaries from like a year ago or whatever, right? So yeah,
well, we're not. Let's see. So it's more of a mapping. It's more of
but if your
it,
root source code is from an EE10 binary and not from what's in the
we're,
refactor branch.
yeah, let's see. Let me just show an example. So we're not we're not changing as much as we're generating new source files. So we're actually
Yeah,
generating new sources. We shouldn't have.
but generating from what?
Let me just. So in the case of JPA, we have spec tests which are mostly weren't touched by the automation. We have platform tests which is generated by the automation. So the automation is looking at the EE10 binaries to figure out what to generate in the new tests that are generated, but the automation doesn't, shouldn't be updating current tests. And other test buckets aren't as straightforward as this one. Other ones do it, within the same package. But for the JPA, I kept it separate. So this is all the generated code, and spec test got changed by me by hand. I made a lot of changes actually, because I started out with the already validated persistence 3.2 TCK, which I forked into spec and into this folder, essentially into the JPA folder. So we have JPA and JPA hyphen TCK, which is the component spec TCK now. And this folder is for the platform TCK. Um, so, but anyways, automation, generated all of this code as new source modules that look like, let me just
Right,
open,
but did it
oh,
generate it from the TCK refactor branch, or did it generate it from an EE10 level of code? Like if someone had made a change to any of these tests in TCK refactor over the last year and a half, was it picked up?
in the case of JPA,
In the case of
uh,
anything, but sure.
in the case of JPA, we didn't lose anything. Um, in the case of the other ones, I don't think we should have lost anything either, in unless,
For,
so
for because my impression from like a couple months ago when Scott Stark was talking about doing work on vehicles and stuff is that he was redoing a bunch of stuff I had done because I
We
had already changed like the EJB vehicles to use EJB 3 instead of 2. And at some point he was talking about having to do that stuff. And I was just sitting there thinking like that was already done if you
s-
had used the right source code.
okay, so this is all generated, shrink wrapper code. That's based on the EE10 build XML files and the classes, but this is just to this EE10 is just used to figure out how to generate this this code. It's not used to figure out what's in the test. In fact, what we see here, the class that's extended is um, um, is unmodified. So essentially, this is generating um, the code that is invoked by JUnit so Maven and JUnit is invoking this code from the JUnit side, and this code knows how to in this case we're using app manage. It knows how to go over um, the Achillean protocol, either the servlet protocol or the app client protocol that's got added support for to either the app client or the servlet container, and um, execute the test on the server side as we have done previously. But this is just kind of like just the middleman to get us there, if you will. This doesn't remove anything from the tests that we're calling on the server side. We could look at one of the tests you're talking about and just look at the history, and it may be that maybe we did lose your changes. I
The,
didn't
the tests
know that we did.
the tests I'm talking about don't have PRs in yet, I don't think.
Um, I mean, you made a lot of changes before for
Well,
EJB3.
I made a lot of changes in normal EJB, which has been removed and segregated appropriately.
Yeah, but yeah, there were other things that we removed from like EJB 30, I think. I thought that your changes were still there. Let me just see if I can eyeball uh, where that would have been. Remove duplicate. Okay, so I think that was yours or mine. Let's see. See. See, so that change is still there. So we didn't lose that. Um, okay, sorry, wait a minute. That looks like generated. That looks like a generated. Let me look at the history again of that one. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. So that wasn't your change or my change. Let's see. Back to 2 years. So weird. Okay, history. Let's just see. Refactor. So there's the things I removed. Okay, this is it. Okay. So, wow, last May. Time flies. Um, so see, so the question, so the question is this, are these changes still in place, right? And you're saying that you think they got removed, or you're not sure?
My impression from what Scott was describing as the process led me to believe that they may have been lost, at least in some cases.
They shouldn't have been. Because I think even if he ran into trouble, even if he well, I guess we could look at his pull request, which was further up. But even if he ran into trouble, I don't think he would have said, "Oh, like Brian's changes were trouble."
No,
We
no, no, no. It wouldn't have been that. It would have just been
I can override kind of thing.
yeah, because of the process of
Oh
where
no, oh no, yeah, yeah, because it wasn't like it's refactoring of the EE11 branch to test sources at the source level, but not, not making them equivalent to what they were in 10 by, mapping them to that level. It's more of looking for, taking the EE10 binary as TCK binary as a model. And we started out with that jar to shrink wrap model, last fall. And
Mhm.
then we switched, but it's still fundamentally the same, except Scott Stark made it more complete than we had previously done by taking into account rules based on rules, or maybe not rules is a bad word, but on a way to map the what is included in the build XML, and he found a lot more problems than we had previously found, like with regard to like Java sources that are recompiled by TCK implementation users that we hadn't really accounted for in a lot of other problems that we had to deal with. Yeah, we didn't do a source, copy, if you will, from
Okay.
10. Yeah.
So if
I
these changes are in, then to go back to the original thing, that would imply that I could safely make changes to the app client code
Yes.
as is,
Yeah,
and they should be picked up.
the only thing is it's probably easy enough to run the tooling. And now that you've described the problem, then I understand you better, because I don't think I understood before that the problem. I think we should just refactor those, and then then you do your thing instead of um, put, like instead of raising the question. I like if you get an understanding of what you need to do and want to do in terms of rewriting tests. And then maybe we make those merge those pull requests after the refactor.
Okay.
Uh, I think that would probably be, then there's no possible problems that could arise with your changes being thrown away. But I don't think your changes could be thrown away, but before we were in the mode of when there were problems, like if like a code change caused a mapping problem, we would go back and change the automation. I kind of feel like we're past that point where we want to make any automation changes. Like for JPA, I'm just, I'm doing bash scripts. I've made manual changes. I'm not going to run the automation anymore because it's just, I already started making changes manually from a bash script, but and then I needed to change other things, and it just made more sense to just hack it out rather than use the automation. And then so I don't think we want to change automation anymore, but I don't know, that's probably the safest way. Does that So does that make sense if if you create a pull request and then we just wait to merge it until
Yeah.
someone runs the automation? I don't think it's a big thing, and
No,
and
well,
then
so I'll probably do it under 2 pull requests then, because there's some that could go in now, and then I will set aside the stuff that hasn't um, been run through yet.
okay,
Because like the EJB 3.0 changes for managed beans should be safe to just go directly in as soon as people think they're good.
yeah,
But the app client ones would need more work first, right?
yep, yep, okay. I'm glad you asked because I didn't really. I think we talked about it at a higher level, and um, I've been talking to Scott about it, and we've been working on it since get with the jar to shrink wrap, counting that,
Yeah, yeah,
since
yeah.
last fall, and we kind of had that a model in mind for automation, and we added in the open rewrite use, and we were using it more, and then we're still using it, but we're using it much less than we were before. But
No, that's
um,
good. There were a couple meetings over the summer back when we were still monthly. When I was gone the first week of the month, I think 2 months in a row. So I definitely missed uh, kind of a lot of the initial layout of this stuff, and it was already in place by the time I was re-engaged. So my understanding was clearly not exactly what the truth was, but thank you for that.
yeah, no, I'm glad. It took me a bit to sync up and understand, but yeah, I'm glad we went through that and explained it, and yeah. So let's see. So where were we? Oh yeah, so we didn't go on to 10 yet. There wasn't much on 10 to make sure I'm on the right section still. Yeah, there wasn't that much on 10. Um, and Ariane isn't here. And he had raised the follow on section. But I guess we could still discuss that. But I'll just say, just quickly on 10, if there are other TCK challenges, um, I hope to do a EE 10.06 this week. And if there are other challenges that others know about that they want to get into 10.06, it'd be good to to get in, I think. And yeah, so that was most of what I wanted to talk about it. And um, the latest one, this 1469, I'll just open that one. Um, is it it's one that I created the issue for in August, um, and I made it made it a challenge this morning because I really wasn't sure originally what how to best deal with that one, but I think it should be treated as a challenge, and I'm hoping to hear from feedback from Lucas. But if anyone wants to, give feedback, that, feedback from anyone is certainly welcome. But essentially, um, just to give a quick, high level summary, in Hibernate, in Wildfly and Hibernate 6, we made a change to enable bytecoded enhancement, and we ran into this one TCK test that fails because of the spouse entity class, and it has like a mix of property getters and setters and field access references, and it's essentially we hit a bug, I think on on our implementation side, but the concern is that, the entity really shouldn't be mixing, the getters and setters in the field in fields. So I think for 11 we should change the class, but for 10 I'm looking to either exclude the test or add a hint, which we've never done before, a vendor hint for the persistence unit XML, um, um, which I think would be an interesting change. It would basically be a wildfly, hint, persistent unit hint that only a wildfly would interpret. Everyone else would just ignore. And we basically say, for certain, for tests that include that persistent unit, to don't do bytecode enhancement. And that's, one of the possible changes. And the other change would be to just update the entity class to have correct, use of, properties and fields. So that may be more information than is needed, but it's a different challenge than I've ever, different than ones I've seen in the past. Oh, let's see. I see more info in chat. Let's see.
Yeah, so this is a challenge that we open. It's kind of a messy challenge because it's talking about differences between E10 and E11. But if you
Yep.
read basically Mark's first comment and maybe even later ones, he says that we can create a PR to the 10.0 branch of the platform TCK to exclude the test.
Oh, good. Okay. That's great, actually. So that makes
So
my whole spiel I just gave worthwhile. But yeah, there's more.
yeah. So I don't know if there is a PR. If there's not, I can go create one so we don't hold up creating a 10.05.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, well, that sounds. Well, it's probably sounds familiar because I've seen that TC that test like a lot in the past. So
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course it's familiar. Let's just open up the oops, let's see, let's do this. So, yeah, go to 10 branch. We have a lot of, I don't know how we ended up with all these branches, the issue branches. I need to do some cleanup of that. But let's see. What is it? So the install. Let's see. So for the servlet TCK, let's look at the exclude file, and yes, I don't
nope.
see.
It's a different max age test. So
Um, yeah. So yeah. So it looks like that's not. That's not. Yeah. That's API servlet. Yeah. That's a different one. Maybe, or is it? Oh yeah, it's a different test. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yep. That's that. So it's just a different one. Let's see. Or is it? It looks like the
it's
same one. Is it?
no, it's a
No.
different test method anyway. I think it's the same. Uh,
Oh, did I? Let me see.
Ela, the link is wrong.
It could be the link. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, the link. Okay, the link is probably close enough, but yeah, you're right. It's a different method. Yeah, uh, yeah. Okay, so maybe we can let's see. Oh, we have it. Let's add the link. Oops, reference. The challenge test link is. Yeah, I'll make it clear. Okay, so yeah, can you create a pull request for that, and then
Yeah, is that that one in the servlet directory that you were looking at? That's the one that they get like accumulated together. Is that the way it works?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, from the CI perspective, we have to generate the platform TCK still, that's common, the
right.
persistence TCK, and then the servlet TCK. And let's see, is this the, let's see, let's see. So let me just open up, oops. Um, I guess oh, sorry, let's see, I should be looking at, 10. Let's see. So, yeah, let me just give you a link here. Let's see. So you want to update. Oh no, it's a property file. Or is it in here? Yeah, give me a second. Oh no, I know. Sorry, now I remember. I was just blanking on its release, I think. Let's see. There it is. Release tools. Servlet. So version should be right there. So you'll want to, oh, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong branch again, aren't I? Let's see. Yep, main, we want to be on 10x. Yep. So in your pull request, you'll update that line, which I'll put in the agenda, to 603. And that's for the servlet TCK change.
Got it. Thank you.
Um, let's see, so 10. Update. and that's and yeah, and I think the changes I already made. And do you need the link to the JTX file too? Yeah, I guess you, yeah, let me do that too. Let me add those two
Sure.
as well. May as well, because you want two of those. Let's see. So, so you want to update that one. And the platform TCK as well. Let's see. This will be
So it is. Okay.
that one.
Wasn't sure if it was dual maintenance or if this file was cleverly created by aggregating all the other ones, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, until you go through it, you just you don't know. Um, and Yep, yeah. And I think that's all. So you have to update those three files in your pull request. So the standalone servlet, the platform TCK, as well, to exclude that test. Oh, so, um, um, be sure to use appropriate um, um, EE10 versus servlet versus standalone servlet standalone servlet references. So like the standalone ones, the vehicle names are different. So, but you kind of see that in the see. So
In the ones that are there already.
in the ones that are there, um, just sometimes the vehicles, like for servlet could, or different things vary. And you just want to, yeah, but you wouldn't like these vehicles are only used for JPA, so you
Sure.
wouldn't like copy those certainly. But I usually look at existing CCRs or whatever, or results that test runs that have run, and it's actually I don't always insist on it, but if people um, include the test failures, that is usually useful because then you can kind of copy out this kind of stuff from that.
Yep.
Let's see. And that's the EE10 one, and then you can kind of see you know, the existing servlet ones as well, like I was saying. Um, okay, so okay, that's yes. So no vehicles are referenced there, but for JPA, we do have vehicles, so that's a little bit confusing, but I can't say I know uh, what we call we have this the test name, and you have this from standalone added on. And if in the platform, it's different. So yeah, so this is why it's good to see the test results, so you can actually copy this kind of stuff, but from the challenge itself. But yeah, okay, I think that's it for that. Just ping me if you need more help. James, yeah, I think we're 2 minutes over. Is there any, James, was there anything else that you had come in?
No, I did run the TCK, the platform TCK against a build of the 11 branch, and it, as we expected, it failed on the managed beans or the annotations with the managed bean annotation in there.
Oh, okay.
Signature test, but
Yep.
that's something we could talk about on chat. I haven't really looked into details on if it was because Wildfly itself includes the wrong managed bean or because the signature test is or the signature test file is wrong. I haven't looked yet to see which one that is, but I would assume it's because Wildfly is using the wrong managed bean or the wrong annotation library.
It depends on when you took the platform TCK source, because I think
I just
I
did today.
oh,
Just built it.
you took it today, so
Yeah.
it should be, okay, so the the root palm, I know the root palm XML is using the EE10 managed annotation, I managed, sorry, common annotations specs, and I made that change yesterday to fix a compile error
Okay.
temporarily, and to yeah, so yeah, it basically, we were failing to build like the EJB test because they didn't see the managed bean annotation, so we're getting a lot of compile errors because of that. So I've made a
Right.
change to revert back to the EE10 version of that. So
Right.
that should, so it's probably the core profile signature test that's wrong.
Yeah, it could be Wildfly too, because I don't think we've upgraded in the Wildfly preview because we still have tests that use managed beans, and we didn't want to break them.
Oh,
So
okay.
there'd be
That's
compile
yeah.
issues in Wildfly too. So
Okay. All right. That's good to know. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for joining, Brian and James, and
yeah.
hope you both have a rest of the day and see you online. And
All right.
I'm gonna hit
Yep.
stop on record. Let's see.